Great. Welcome so much to everyone here. I am Elaine Chang. I'm the Senior Manager for Global Market Development here at TaroWorks. And thanks again for joining our webinar today. So we're excited to bring you another webinar where we hear directly from a TaroWorks client about how they're using the system in a really awesome way. So today we're happy to be joined by Esther Altorfer, who's the Finance Director at Sistema Biobolsa. Sistema Biobolsa is a social enterprise whose mission is to empower farmers in developing countries to break the poverty cycle and to make farms more sustainable with their Biodigestor system. And Esther will be able to tell you more about that in a little bit. We're excited for this topic because our previous webinars have focused on ways that other social enterprises have used TaroWorks for very specific aspects of their business, like offline credit scoring or supply chain management or case maintenance. But today, we're zooming out to see how a social enterprise is using TaroWorks to manage relationships with their customers throughout their entire engagement, from the first demo that they get to tracking them over time as a regular user. So really excited to see how Sistema Biobolsa has done that. So before I switch it over, I'm just going to open up a quick poll and then go over some housekeeping issues. So let me open this poll. You should see it on your screen. So feel free to put in your answers there. Okay, so then as that's going, I'd like to just go over the housekeeping rules, which is that this webinar will be recorded for marketing purposes. And then also, we'll be taking questions mostly at the end, but if you have kind of an urgent clarification question, please do send it through and I can interrupt and get that answered for you. So that's that. Okay, great. Let me close this poll. Looks like people are still responding. Okay, I'm going to close it now. Okay, great. So at this point, I'll switch it over to Esther to take it away. So Esther, hopefully I did change over to the presenter. Can you see my screen? Not yet. Oh, something's happening. Okay, there it is. Yep, we can see it.
Perfect. Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much, Elaine, for the introduction. So what I will really try to show today is how TaroWorks combined with Salesforce has really revolutionized our efficiency and our process integration in the field. So I will start with an introduction of Sistema Biobolsa, who we are, what we do, and then switch over to our processes and to why we've chosen TaroWorks, and to a demo of existing data and a live demo of how we use TaroWorks. So at Sistema Biobolsa, our vision is a sustainable, equitable, and empathetic world without waste. So our mission to reach this is to create value from waste. I will go into detail into the technology a little bit after. But just for the framework of this conversation and this presentation, I want also to share our ambition, which we define as our impact goal. By 2021, we want to have installed biodigesters for 250,000 end users in 12 countries on 4 different continents. So really, we're looking at a currently a Mexican and Nicaraguan social enterprise that is about to scale massively in different geographies. So how do we do it and what do we do? Basically, we are manufacturing, selling, and installing waste-to-energy technology that's called a Biodigestor. A Biodigestor is this flexible plastic reactor which can receive animal waste that you see on the left hand of this slide. So it receives cow or pig or any other animal manure, and then a natural biological process transforms this manure into biogas that can then be used to cook, to heat water, or to produce electricity through motor generators. And it also produces organic fertilizer that can be applied on the field that increases crop yield and supports healthy soils. So there are a lot of different impacts that are linked with this technology, which are, well, farmer empowerment as they they can displace LP gas, they can displace wood, they can displace chemical fertilizers, so they are generating savings, they're protecting the environment by eliminating the fossil fuels, they're reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and overall they're treating the waste that's on their farm. So instead of piling it up in a corner and then applying it directly to the field, they're transforming the waste into a productive resource. So this is about the technology. So we are working with the highest quality technology. So we've taken it from the industrial sector and have adapted it to be applied for subsistence and small farmers. So we have different sizes of systems and work with the smallest subsistence farmers that will have 1 cow or 3 pigs, up to larger farms that can have 100 cows or 300 pigs. So there's a diversity of sizes, they're modular, they can be combined, they're really easy maintenance, they can be installed in half a day, and they last around 20 years in the field. What has really been key to our success so far is that not only, I mean, the technology I have described that has a lot of benefits, but it's really our overall program and our working methodology. So this slide is really important to then understand the different processes and how we have included Salesforce and TaroWorks into all of our working steps. So basically, everything starts with promotion and market penetration that you can see here, number 1. And then once the client is interested in acquiring a Biodigester, one of our technicians will go to the farm and make a full diagnostic of the client's situation, how many animals they have, what their energy demand is, what their fertilizer demand is, how many people are living there, what they're currently spending, and that's also where we're defining the payment plan. So we have a partnership with Kiva that allows us to provide interest-free loans to our clients that is based on a credit evaluation questionnaire that is part of the diagnostics. So here we're really providing a tailored and really having a tailored diagnostic to really understand what payment plan and what size of Biodigester is the most appropriate for the client. Then we're sending the Biodigester, the production order to the plant. That's also in Mexico. And step number 4 is the installation of the Biodigester. And also something that is key and that I will illustrate well today is once the system has been installed, is the ongoing monitoring and capacity building that our technicians are doing with the clients. So we have at least 3 mandatory follow-up visits that happen 30, 90, and 180 days after the system has been installed. So this is number 5. So typically, 1 month after the system has been installed, it's producing biogas. So we're there to accompany the client when they light their cook stove for the first time. 90 days after, they can start applying the organic fertilizers, so we're accompanying them at this stage 2. And 6 months after the installation, it's really the long-term impact monitoring visit that we're doing, where we're really comparing the baseline information that we have collected in the step 2, that's the diagnostic, and comparing the real results with their initial situation to really try to understand what the improvement in their daily life has been. So the challenges that we were facing, and I'm going back now to a little bit more than a year ago, probably a year and a half, when we were really thinking about what the next step was for our company processes. So we used to be using the same methodology and processes that I've just described, just that we were doing everything with pen, paper, and then moving it to Excel and email. So our key challenges were to maintain the quality control and to continue impact measurements, which are our key performance indicators. I mean, this is how we measure ourselves. This is how our investors measure our performance. So what we really needed is a comprehensive CRM tool that connects the field team, the central office, and the manufacturing plant. So we decided to implement Salesforce and TaroWorks at the same time. So really what we were looking for is a smart, integrated mobile and digital data management platform that would help us to maintain the high data quality, to be able to share this data in an immediate way through the whole company. We have 4 field offices, we have our manufacturing plant and the central office. So all these people need to have access to the data. And we wanted to increase efficiency in field activities to strengthen our impact monitoring capacity and the service that we provide to the clients, and really have access to the data to be able to analyze and use it for this internal decision making and also for reporting to external stakeholders. So as I had also mentioned before, all of this needed to happen, and it needed to happen with a platform that would be able to accompany our replication on our growth through different regions and countries throughout the world. So basically what we were looking for is to continue business as usual, just shifting, it's just not that easy, but basically shifting from pen, paper, and Excel to an on- and offline mobile data and integrated CRM tool. So this is, on the left is where we were standing at the year end 2015. So we had reached, we had successfully installed 2,500 biodigesters in Mexico. We had our central office in Mexico City, our 1 field office and manufacturing plant in the central region of Mexico. And in 2016, as we implemented Salesforce and TaroWorks and started replicating the 2015 structure in new regions, we expanded to 1 new field office in the western part of Mexico and to a 3rd field office in the Yucatan region. And we also had our first international office opening in Nicaragua. So this was all made possible through TaroWorks and Salesforce. So we now have people in different regions and in different countries reporting progress on the same platform, using the same reports, and it's all consolidated in the company level dashboards on Salesforce. What is going to happen in the next year is that we will continue this replication to even more geographies. So I will describe this a little bit later. So this slide here is really to explain so the cycle of our methodology that I was describing before. I have tried to translate it in our Salesforce and TaroWorks processes. So really illustrating, in order to make this whole process work, what are the different TaroWorks, Salesforce, field, office, and plant interactions that are happening. So basically, what we can do in Salesforce is to create, in TaroWorks, sorry, is to create the client contact. we're doing the diagnostic, we're providing the client with a quote, then we're validating that the site is ready for installation. We're installing the system, and we're doing the monitoring visits 1, 2, and 3. So this is all the first level that you can see that's happening in the field with TaroWorks. And TaroWorks is constantly communicating and synchronizing with Salesforce that is reviewed at the office level, where we are also creating client contacts and also sending quotes, and creating sales opportunities, and communicating with the manufacturing plant by providing them purchase orders through Salesforce that are received at the plant and turned into manufacturing orders. So now at the bottom part of the manufacturing. And so once the plant has done the manufacturing order, it will let us know that the system is ready to be distributed and shipped, which will send an alert to the central office, which will plan the installation in the field. Once the system is installed, there's a safe installation report that's happening in the field, and then we can have all our reports in Salesforce of the biodigesters we have installed, and we can share this information with our administration and accounting team to make sure that all the legal documentation is in place and that our accountant has registered the bill for the sale. And then we're moving back to the field with the monitoring 1, 2, and 3. So I'm happy to come back to this slide later if you have more questions, but basically this is what just an illustration of a TaroWorks in action. So this person you can see on the pictures is our credit coordinator. So what she's doing here is through TaroWorks, she is filling out the diagnostic and has reached the piece where we're asking for information to define the credit conditions of the loan. So I'm sorry that's in Spanish, but I will translate a few of these questions to show how we have created our own credit evaluation questionnaire that takes into account qualitative and quantitative data to be able to make an informed decision. So we're asking what our technician thinks about the client's farm, if it looks well taken care of, if the infrastructure is clean. We're asking our technician to share his comments on the client's animal, if they look well taken care of, if they look healthy. And then we are moving to more quantitative information where we're trying to understand all the expenses and revenues of the client. So what you can see here, for those who are not familiar with TaroWorks, on the left side in red are the different scoring, the different scores that we're assigning to each answer that are then creating an overall scoring for each category. So this is also something, a TaroWorks functionality that we're very happy about and that we want to further use to make some informed decisions. So basically, the reasons why we have chosen TaroWorks as an offline CRM tool is, I mean, the first reason is because it synchronizes and is completely integrated with Salesforce. Really what we are very glad about is that its capacity to centralize field activities on one mobile device. So now our technicians are filling out a questionnaire, they're taking pictures, and they're confirming the sale on their mobile. And previously they were using a camera, then they were using paper, and they were using email to confirm all these different steps. Now it's all centralized and it's making their life much easier. We really need the offline functionality because there's no reception and no well, not even speaking about internet in most of the regions where we're working. And the GPS functionality is really helpful also for us to be able to share the information and find the identity, because it will not always be the same technician that is installing the system and then doing the monitoring. And really something that we hadn't considered that much as we chose TaroWorks, but that is proving to be extremely helpful, is TaroWorks capacity to push information from Salesforce to the field officers. So at the beginning of each survey, when they are selecting an existing client, we will be able to display the client's phone number. We'll be able to display the amount that the client still owes on his loan, when the next payment date is, how many monitoring visits have been realized, and this sort of information that is really helpful for technicians, because they used to either have to be very sure of the route they were going to take, or have to call the admin office and to have the number of some clients, etc. So I want to make a brief demo of how we're using Salesforce and TaroWorks. So I'll take the example of one of our clients, who's Janet Binia. So going through the different steps of our whole methodology. So this is a typical contact page. So we have the client's name, we have their tax registration number, we have their birth date, we have their address, we have their GPS coordinates, and their phone number. This will be the starting point for any sale and any Biodigester that we install. And we will then, in Salesforce, synchronized from TaroWorks, have access to their long diagnostic and to their sales information. So the objective of the diagnostic is to define the size of the Biodigester that is most relevant for this specific family or farm, and to gather information on the loan. So in this case, we can see that Enrique Reyes has made this diagnostic on the 11th of June of this year. Janet lives with 2 other women, and there are 3 adult men and 3 kids in the family. They have 27 pigs, and they live from selling meat. They have access to water, which is a key criteria for our Biodigester. They're using wood. They're using 100 kilos of wood a month, and they are spending 3 hours per week recollecting it in the patio of their house and in the forest around their house. They're also buying wood in addition to recollecting it. They're also using LP gas, spending, this is around $15 a month in LP gas, and so on. So they don't have fields, so they will probably try to sell the organic fertilizer or to find other ways to use them. And here we have the pictures that have been taken with TaroWorks and then synchronized into Salesforce. And in this case, the client says that yes, they need a loan to be able to purchase the Biodigester. And then we enter into the full eligibility criteria and loan analysis. So first, we're confirming that the client meets our eligibility criteria. We have a person that is co-responsible for the loan. And then we have our qualitative information on the client, on the animals, on the farm. We're asking the technician on what they think about the client, if the client seems enthusiastic about the technology, if the client seems to be really wanting to have access to the technology, and then they can provide a comment. Here, for example, our technician said that the client is really clear about what they need and how they plan to grow their farm. They know their expenses, and they seem aware of the commitment that it is to take on a new loan. Then we enter into the more quantitative payment information. So we ask about their different revenues. We ask about the frequency of these revenues, and the same goes for all the expenses. So for the expenses that are related to their farm, the frequency of these expenses, and the same for the house. And something that's really important as we define the payment plan, we're asking what are the months where you have most revenue, what are the months that are in which you have less money, and then we ask about their savings, we ask about how they would pay us, and we take the pictures. This is all done with the mobile device on Taro. where we ask for the picture of their ID. And all this information is then synchronized, and in the office we're doing the credit committee. So we register so this is then done through Salesforce, where we decide if we approve the credit, if we reject it, if we need more information, and we put a comment. So once this has all happened, we start the state has been confirmed, and we can create the sales opportunity. So here we send the purchase order to the manufacturing plant. It has been sent on the 3rd of August, and the plant has responded on the 4th of August. And the Biodigester has been installed on the 23rd of August. So this is all the information of the actual number of the Biodigester in the plant. Then we have the whole payment plan. The status of the loan is that it's on time. We have uploaded on Jiva, so we have the ID here. And we have all the billing information that has been filled out by the administration team on Salesforce. We're sure that all the different contracts have been signed and have been scanned. And we have the safe installation format that has been filled out with TaroWorks and synchronized into Salesforce, where basically all the different steps of the installation have to be confirmed. So here we have the product that has been sold, the price here in pesos at which it has been sold, and here we have the detail of all the payment plans. So in this case, Janet has made a down payment to confirm the sale. Then she's made another payment on the day of the installation, and she has already made 2 payments on her loan. And so these loan payments are reported by the client to the credit coordinator who is registering it here. And then our accounting team is confirming that it has actually hit the account when it's a deposit. And then what we have down here is the summary of all our different monitoring visits or calls. In this case, the first monitoring visit has already happened. So remember that this happens more or less 1 month after the system has been installed. And then our credit coordinator has sent an SMS and has made some calls to remind the client of the payment that needs to happen. So the monitoring visit number 1, we can see it here. So this has happened. So this is collected through TaroWorks. So the visit has happened on the 12th of September. Enrique Reyes has done it. At the time he visited, the system was inflated. It was not producing biogas yet. But they were already feeding the system every day. They were inputting 6 buckets of 20 kilos a day, and here we have a picture of how the Biodigester is on the day of the monitoring visit. And so since the system has been installed by the end of August, it would now more or less be the time to do the second monitoring visit. So I would like now to do a quick demo of what this would look like in TaroWorks. So this would be my interface if I was a technician in the field and I had arrived at the farm of Janet and I was about to do the second monitoring visit. So I would go to Trabajos, which is the different jobs that you can assign. Here is the list of everything that I, as a field officer, field technician, can do on my mobile device. So now we're going to do the second monitoring visit. So I will start a new job. I will start the job, and I will select which state I am in. So here I am in the state of Mexico, and I will look for my client. So my client's name is Janet Lopez Piña. So I will select her, and just to be sure that it's really her, I will confirm. So this is the information that is pushed from Salesforce to TaroWorks. So here we're confirming the full name of the client and the date of installation. So the system has been installed on the 23rd of August. It's been installed by Enrique. in the state of Mexico in this community, and these are the GPS coordinates. This is the number which I can use to call the client. This is a full loan amount, and this is what she still owes us, and her next credit payment is expected on December 1st. And the first monitoring visit has already been completed, which is why we're now about to complete the second monitoring visit. So since all of this information is correct, and I am at the farm of Janet Pina, which has the following characteristics, I can move to next. And I will confirm here that this is the second monitoring visit. I'll put the date. I'll confirm that the system is inflated. Let's say that now the biogas is turned on and is working. There is no problem with the system, and the client is using 6 hours of biogas per day and has really reduced the other sources of energy. We saw that they were previously spending around $15 a month on LP gas, so this corresponds to around 30 kilos of LP gas. Let's say that now they're only using it in cases of emergency, and they're using 5 kilos of LP gas, and they have completely eliminated the use of wood. They use biogas to cook and to heat water in the bathroom. And they have not applied their organic fertilizer yet because, well, they don't have fields, so they need to find another solution. And then the key question is if they would recommend Biobolsa to one of their neighbors. In this case, since they're very happy clients, we will say yes. And generally, we can here comment that the client's happy. So we will go to next. I won't take a picture because I am right now sitting in a foreign office, but the field officer could take the picture, and it's actually highly recommended that he does. He can take a second picture, and then he can complete the job. So we will synchronize it now, just to be sure. Oh, I think I hit synchronize later. So we would synchronize if this would work. I think that it's not. But once this would have synchronized, we would go back in the office and choose the opportunity and be able to refresh this page, and the second follow-up visit would show up here, and as we would click on it, we would be able to see the same detail that we can see in this first monitoring visit. So I hope this has been useful for you as an illustration. Let me see if it has synchronized. Yes, it has. So we can actually see that now the second monitoring has appeared. The technician who's realized it is Esther on this page. So we would then click on this if we wanted to see what has been happening. And we would have the same information that I have filled out in TaroWorks, filled out here in Salesforce. So coming back to the presentation, really what we have seen, and I wanted to put some numbers on it for you to grasp really the improvement that TaroWorks and Salesforce have represented. And this is just one small aspect of it, but basically this important piece is that we've improved customer service and data analysis. I mean, we're continuing to do what we've always done. We're just doing it faster and better. So far in 2016, we've realized close to 2,000 monitoring visits. We've been into 14 Mexican states and in Nicaragua. And the record month has been June, where we've done almost 650 visits in this month alone, which means around 33 per day with all of our technicians. And our lead monitoring technician has been able to visit 740 farmers and collect data that has been synchronized into Salesforce through each one of these visits. So the data that we have been able to collect and analyze using the long-term monitoring, which happens 6 months after the installation, is that 86% of the biodigesters work perfectly. 95% of our clients mentioned that the biodigester meets their expectations. The biodigester benefits on average 6 people per household, and they're saving $15 a month on displacing LP gas. So we have to add the savings on wood and on chemical fertilizers to a complete picture, but that's an illustration. And the most important benefits that are mentioned, is we rank them by times mentioned, are the biogas, the savings, the organic fertilizers, and protecting the environment. Just to conclude, so I tried to summarize in a short amount of time all the implementation of Salesforce and of TaroWorks that has happened between 2015 and early 2016. So we're really happy and excited about all the improvements that this has brought. As I mentioned, we're now about to expand to new geographies, to new continents. So the next list of challenges and what we want to achieve to reach our full potential and scale with TaroWorks is to adapt the whole platform for new cultures, for new languages, for new currencies. We've realized just in Nicaragua, it's the same language, it's the same processes, but it's not the same currency. For example, they don't use the same word to describe a farm. So there's been a lot of adaptations needed. And what we want to do is also to increase the integration of sales, administration, manufacturing, and technical areas. We still need to improve some automatized alerts and some faster response time between the different offices. We want to start to really use the mapping tool. So we're collecting the GPS coordinates, and we could map them on a different platform, but TaroWorks also has a mapping tool that we're not really taking full advantage of so far. We want to improve the different feedback loops from the field to the central office to continuously adapt the tools. I mean, our technicians are constantly innovating in the field, and this needs to be fed back to the office to adapt our processes. We want to systemize the training and manuals for new geographies and users. And well, now we've reached the maximum amount of Salesforce licenses, of free Salesforce licenses, so we will have to purchase more licenses. So this was it. I'm happy to answer more questions if you have now, or otherwise feel free to reach out. I've left my contact details here. So yeah, thank you for listening in, and I'm happy to take your questions.
Great, thank you so much, Esther. That was a lot of information to go through in such a short amount of time. Hopefully everyone has a good idea of how they're using TaroWorks and Salesforce for all of these processes. So feel free to put your questions into the Q&A section. I have a couple questions that I'll lob at you first. So if you could go back to your kind of flow slide, I just love that slide. I think it shows a lot of the different processes that you have. Could you just explain like who's doing what in this flow? Like what kind of, what are the different types of stakeholders who are interacting with this system? I think you mentioned obviously there's a technician, there's a credit coordinator. Like how many people are coordinated using this system?
Okay, so right now we have around 20 technicians in the field that are using TaroWorks. So they are the ones that are doing all the upper part, the first field part with TaroWorks. So especially the site validation, safe installation, and monitoring. So then we also have a sales team. They are doing most of the client contact, diagnostic, and quotes. And then in the office, we have our director of the technical team and of sales, who's reviewing all of this information and creating the sales opportunity and purchase order. So these are confirmed by the commercial director. And then it's moved to the plants where we have our manufacturing plant manager who is receiving the orders and managing the manufacturing plan. And then with the distribution and shipping, communicating back to the technical director who's scheduling the date of installation. And then once we arrive at the last piece, which is the report of the installed Biodigester, legal docs, and accounting, we have the whole administration team, which is going to issue the bill, the accountant who is going to review the payments that have been received and link them back to a bill. And this is also where I am preparing all the reports for the board of directors and for other investors.
Great, that's a lot of people. A question that comes up a lot for me is, how do you get people to be enthusiastic about using a system and shifting from pen and paper to mobile or cloud-based database? So with so many people involved, what was it like to shift your staff toward this system? Like, was there anything, best practices that you would recommend, or something that you think was very successful for you?
Yes, I think shifting to TaroWorks was much easier than I expected. Our technicians and field officers and everybody moving around in the field, they were very excited about receiving a very fancy new phone, about being able to type all the information in the phone and be able to centralize. I think they grasped the benefits of TaroWorks very quickly, so they responded really well. And what was really useful and what I think I'd like to share as a best practice was to find a field champion, so the person who is the fastest at understanding how to download TaroWorks on your phone, how to synchronize, who is really the first point of contact for the field team to answer, to respond to basic issues or questions that they might have. This was really useful. But besides that, it was really having a strong push from the leadership team that this is the reality now, and that they will learn and they will see that it's really providing some value for them. So this was, TaroWorks happened really fast, and there was some initial, just an adaptation phase where people had to get more familiar with the system, but it has been adopted very fast. It was a little bit more complicated with Salesforce, because this happened at the office level and is really trying to conciliate a lot of different areas of the company. I mean, from sales to the plans to the different accounting pieces. So this took a little bit more time, but really the key is to show that this is making people's lives easier and centralizing the information, and just really a helpful tool for them. So it takes ongoing training, some internal audits of the data that has been uploaded to the system, just to make sure that everything is consistent and clear. But really showing that the system is adding value and going to save them time in the future is the key.
Great, thanks. A couple questions around your credit questions. So how did you come up with the credit questions as part of the diagnostics? It sounded like there was a mix of qualitative and quantitative data. How did you first come up with those?
So it was a long, or not so long, but a pretty intense process where we worked with some experts in the microfinance industry. So basically what we're doing is providing a payment plan where the client can waive wait to receive or perceive the benefits of the savings and then repay the loan in accordance with the savings that they are receiving and in accordance with their overall cash flow. So we've done a lot of work with our clients, with our field team, took the best practices from the microfinance industry and really, focused on our key values of being a fair company. And so really trying to develop questions that would give us the most accurate reflection of the client's real situation, because somebody can be very poor but can be taking extremely good care of their animals, live in a very clean environment. So we wanted to value these aspects and take them into consideration as a positive criteria in the loan evaluation, in addition to the quantitative just expenses and revenue criteria, because a lot of our clients actually never really think about how much they're spending or how much they're earning, so they're just have money and then they're spending it. So it's a very new exercise that we're doing with them, where we're not only trying to gather information, but also trying to make them aware of the commitment that they're taking through this loan and that they're committed to repaying it. So also the goal, it sounds very traditional, this credit committee, but it's really, we're not trying to reject loan applications. We're just trying to, in this credit committee, we're trying to take the data that we have and to develop the fairest payment plan possible. So we're really taking into account if the client is a dairy farmer, he will probably have, they usually sell their milk once a week, so they have very regular small revenue streams compared to a farmer who will sell meat and will have larger revenue but less frequently. So we're really trying to adapt the payment plan to their revenue streams, and if they have children, we'll try to avoid having large payments when the school starts and all of these kind of things that we're taking into consideration. So our goal really is to create a personalized and a tailored payment plan that guarantees repayment, but also takes into account the client situation. So defining the questions was really, just a collaboration effort between gathering data from the field, working with our technicians who are in the field every day, working with our clients and trying to collect the payments and to understand their situation.
Great. And then my final question, so if you have any other questions, please do type them in. You mentioned that you're getting your payment data into Salesforce, or you mentioned that you're able to pull that up. How are you getting that into Salesforce?
So basically, once the payment plan is defined and approved, the client, and when we go and install the system, we will have a contract which will detail the payment plan with dates and amounts, and this payment plan will then be saved into Salesforce. So I don't know if you can still see my screen, but
we can.
Okay. So then we will capture all of these payment dates. So this here is expected payment date, and then we have the real payment date here. So we will pull this information. Here we will upload it in the payment object, and then we have a summary or formula field in the payment plan summary that shows the date of the last payment and the date of the next payment. So then we pull this into TaroWorks.
Okay, great. I think those are all of my questions. So I think at this point we'll end a little bit early, but before we do, just thank you so much, Esther, first of all, for the great work that you're doing. So we're really excited to be able to help you with this. And then just for sharing your really robust way of using both TaroWorks and Salesforce. So this is great. So thanks so much for your time and for all that you do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, TaroWorks and the whole team.
Great. Thanks, everybody, for joining, and we'll see you for our next webinar. Bye.